the biggest problem you guys all have, and we'll get into this in another podcast, is you guys always talk about, a lot of people talk about features and all this stuff. Like, we've had people literally talk about like foundation of CrossFit and like how it is established. Like, people don't care. Like, that's great that you care, but all they need to know is like where they're starting and then how you're going to help them.
You're an inspiration to our entire organization.
Welcome to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast. We're going to be talking the done-for-you marketing and sales strategies proven to work with boutique fitness gyms to increase quality lead flow and grow your revenue. Don't try to be a professional marketer and waste tons of money. Let the experts at LASSO do it for you. And now, here are your hosts, Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks.
All right, guys, how are you doing? This is Blake and Sherman with the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast, where we focus on increasing your leads, but more importantly, increasing your revenue. Guys, today we are going to dive into some sales stuff. Blake and I are going to sort of dig in, give you guys some tips. The main thing that we're going to deal with today is objection handling, right? Because we all get objections when we have folks come in for intros or talk to them on the phone or anything, whatever we're doing. So we want to talk about that because I believe there's not many people that necessarily like hate sales, and sales isn't this big scary thing, but many folks haven't been trained on sales or they don't know how to handle objections. So they hate it, right? Because it puts them in sort of that weird spot where they don't want to be the used car salesman, and they don't want to have to sell someone and all of that stuff. So when someone says, I need to go home and think about it, they don't know what to do. They don't know what to say. So we're going to dive into that today. And let's sort of start off with, before you get to the objection, I always like to say you should have basically laid the foundation and talked about the things that is important to them, right? What has them in front of you today? Because that's really important. So once you get to that point, let's say, we do the consult, we sit down with them, right? We talk to them for 15 or 20 minutes. Now we're getting to that point where it's like, hey, Mr. Smith, I think I know exactly what you need today. And then they're like, oh, I'm excited. I'm ready to get going. For me, the next question is, before I talk about price, right? Because if you talk about the objections before price, I just feel like the consults just go that much smoother. So what I like to say is, hey, Mr. Smith, is there anything that could stop you from signing up today? Now, here's the thing. We haven't talked about price at all, because that's the big one that sort of scares people away. We haven't talked about price, but let's just say that we jump into it and Mrs. Smith says, hey, yeah, it sort of depends on my schedule, right? Like, I don't know how many days per week I can make it. So for me, what I like to do from there, we will pull out the schedule and we will figure out how Mr. Smith can commit and attend at least 3 days of training in the gym, 3 to 4 days of training in the gym, right? Whether that's personal training or group options, right? I believe that sort of sets the tone that, hey, you're on their side, you're looking out in their best interest, right? You have their success at top of mind. So we do that, right? We deal with that scheduling objection before it becomes a real objection. So that's what I would do as far as schedule goes. But we know a lot of people, they'll be like, no, I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to get going. Like, I'm excited. So when they say that, you sort of roll out, hey, I'm excited to hear that, Mr. Smith. I am ready to get you going. I'm ready to get you signed up today. I just don't want you to tell me, hey, Sherman, I need to go home and think about it, or I need to talk to my wife or something like that. Because I know that if you leave here, the odds of you coming back drop drastically. So that's the reason I ask you, is there anything that could stop you from signing up today? So now when you say this, people are going to say, well, It'll definitely depend on the price, if that's important to them. And you say, oh, okay, I understand that. I get that. And then you dive into the price piece, right? Hey, like, do you have a budget in mind? That's sort of the next question. And then from there, you get one or two answers. No, I don't have a budget in mind. Yes, I do have a budget in mind. And a lot of times people are like, well, I don't know. I really don't have a budget in mind. And we train folks to sell from the top down, I like to say. So you want to start with your most premium service, right? Your most premium service from the top down. For us, that's personal training with or without customized nutrition, right? And those prices range anywhere from, I want to say, about $800 up to about $1,200 per month, right? Now, I know that most people, 85, 90% of people that come in, they're not going to pay that much for us to do, to do fitness with us. But the reason that I roll that out first is because I want them to see the price so I can sort of price anchor them, right, with that. So for you guys that are, for you guys that are sort of new to this, it's important that you have a premium service so that you can always start selling them from the top down, right? Because if you just jump right into your main offering, oh, it's CrossFit for $200 a month. What happens when they say, that's too much money? I can't afford that, or I'm not willing to pay that. That's when it gets awkward. That's when it gets awkward. You really don't know where to go. You really don't have anywhere to go. So that's the reason that you must sort of sell them from the top down, starting with your most premium service first, then you drop down from there. So again, for me, I like to say, okay, hey, how does this work? And then they're going to say, oh, like, I can't afford that, or I'm not willing to pay that much. That's too much money. So when that happens, I say, okay, hey, you can't afford $1,000 a month. I understand that, Mr. Smith. So obviously you have a budget in mind. So tell me, like, what's your real budget? Because I don't want to waste your time showing you all of these programs that may not fit your budget. But I do believe that if you did 3 times a week, 4 times a week personal training with customized nutrition here, you will reach all of your results even quicker, right? So what's your real budget? And then we sort of go from there, right? You'll get a real budget most of the time. And when you step down to that next price tier, it's just so much better, right? They actually, a lot of times, the potential client sort of breathes a sigh of relief, because when you go from $1,200 a month down to $250 a month, they're like, oh, that's better, right? And you can really help them deal with some of these pricing stick-ups that they may have. Because here's the thing, it's not really about the price for most folks. For some folks, of course, some people cannot afford to pay you $200, $300, $400 a month for fitness. Plus, like, I get that. But most people, they can afford it if they really want to. But you have to do a great job of conveying how your gym is the solution to their problem, right? And I think that that's where we get stuck when someone talks about the price, because we don't really start from the top down, right? We don't ask them beforehand, hey, is there anything that can stop you from signing up today? And I think it's a great thing for you to tell them, hey, Mr. Smith, I'm excited to meet with you today. I'm excited to hear about your problems and get you signed up today, because that's why we're here. I want to get you signed up today. You can tell them what you're looking for. You can tell them the objection of this meeting. It's okay that you don't want to spend 30 minutes with every single person that has an inquiry on your gym. You want to sign them up, and that's okay to let them know, right? A lot of people are like, well, I don't know if I can say that. Like, yes, you can. The goal is to get them to sign up and let them know earlyhand. You set the tone of the meeting. The only reason I'm here today, Mrs. Smith, is to sign you up so you can reach your goals of ABC, right? Whatever their goals are. and you really start that from there. Blake, what have you sort of seen in the past that sort of trips up most newer sales folks, or even the ones that are sort of green in this sort of sales process?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that a lot of you guys struggle with is honestly just being too nice, right? Like, you're just like, anytime they say, oh, I don't know, or I need to think about it, it's like, oh, I get it, like, no problem, right? Rather than digging a little deeper. And a lot of times you're getting objections just because you haven't explained the value or how you're going to solve your problem. The biggest problem you guys all have, and we'll get into this in another podcast, is you guys always talk about, a lot of people talk about features and all this stuff. Like, we've had people literally talk about like foundation of CrossFit and like how it is established. Like, people don't care. Like, that's great that you care, but all they need to know is like where they're starting and then how you're going to help them. So if you explain that well, it's going to handle a lot of the objections because they're going to want to sign up. But I think there's two main problems that a lot of people have is one, like Sherman was saying, doing the price anchoring of if you start at like your main membership, you don't really have anywhere to go afterwards. So, and that looks, if you're showing them $1,000 a month, that looks really expensive. Now $200 looks a lot better, right? That's number one. And number two is just not digging deeper, just giving up when they give the objection. So they say like, oh, well, I'm going to go check out another gym. That just means that like you haven't shown them in your facility how you're going to solve their problem because they think somebody else is going to. If they came in and you showed them exactly the steps they're going to take and how you're going to get them the results, why would they go somewhere else? So digging deeper and deeper and deeper, like once somebody gives you an objections, like a lot of times that's just the start of the conversation. Then it becomes, okay, like tell me more about that. Like, ask questions. What haven't I conveyed to you? What seems unclear? Questions that lead to the next step of you figuring out where to go in the conversation so that they understand. Because objections really, at the end of it, they're telling you they don't believe that your service is going to get them results. Now, a lot of people say price, but everybody goes and buys $1,000 iPhone, right? So they have money. And so a lot of times it's not price, it's the value that they're not showing. You're showing.
Blake, so sort of like I have one of my good friends, he's a surgeon, and, he does consults as well for much higher than, his services cost much more than $200, right? So, when I first started this gym thing 11, 12 years ago, I was trying to get better at sales. I was asking everyone. And I remember him telling me, he was like, hey, listen, like your job isn't necessarily to, quote unquote, sign someone up. It is to let them know how you're going to fix their problem. He's like, when someone comes to my office, I tell them, this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to help you get out of pain. Or this is how I'm going to do this. And then I tell them the price. He was like, some people, they come in, like they have a big enough need. So I tell them the price, $20,000. They're like, okay, like we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. Some people say, there's no way I can afford it. He was like, I haven't really showed them exactly how their life is going to be better. He was like, but a lot of times what will happen is someone will say, I can't afford it. And then the pain will increase over a short amount of time. And then they'll come back weeks later and say, hey, I need to do this. I need to get this problem solved. So it's the same thing in our sales consults, guys. Like Blake was sort of alluding to. You have to really talk about how your gym is a solution to their problem, right? You really have to dive into that. So if someone comes in and their big pain point is weight loss, one, you show them testimonials, how you have helped hundreds of people lose weight in the past, how they've had success, how you do that. You sort of give them a little bit on how you're going to help them do that, how they're going to be the next success story. And then you say, hey, Mr. Smith, I'm ready to get you signed up. Are you ready? Right? I've actually signed up people at my gym through a consult, and they didn't even know the price before they gave me their credit card. I talk about the service and how I'm going to help them reach their goals. And they're like, I love it. Yes, this is good. I'm like, hey, Mr. Smith, are you ready? Like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Okay, let's go get you signed up. We get up. I'm entering their information in the computer. They hand over their credit card. Well, hold on. Like, how much does this cost? I don't even know. I sort of smile. Is it like, does it really matter? because you've already, obviously they're in, right? And a lot of my coaches, they would find that so funny. Be like, how do you sign these people up? They don't even know the price. I was like, well, before I run their credit card, they're asked. But if someone doesn't ask me the price and they give me their card, I don't tell them the price, because obviously the price isn't important to them. Them reaching their goals is important to them, guys. And I think a lot of times with the objection handling, the person that is trying to help them, they have all of these preconceived notions in their head, and they sort of get in the way, and that hurts the client long term. Here's the thing: everyone, whenever I hear a gym owner tell me, or anyone that does sales in the gym industry, oh, I don't want to be, I don't want to be sleazy. I don't want to push folks. My first question is, okay, let's play that out. You don't want to be salesy. You don't want to be pushy. So, is your gym the best gym in town? Oh, absolutely. We've helped hundreds of people. We have all this accountability. We use this and that. Okay, so you strongly believe your gym is the best gym in town. So that means everyone in your town would be best suited to join your gym. Like, really? Like, not everyone, but like most people. Like, yes, I think I can help anyone. Okay, think about the worst gym in your town. Whatever you think the worst gym in your town is. Okay, I'm thinking about it. So, what if that guy or that girl gets phenomenal at sales and they sign up all of these people and they don't help them? But that person came to your gym first. But since you didn't want to be salesy, you let them walk out. They went to the gym down the road. That person was great at sales and signed them up. I like to say you actually did that potential client, a disservice by not being great at sales. Because if you were great at sales, you would be able to stand on all of those great services and all that life-changing stuff that you can do in your gym. But because your feelings got in the way and you didn't want to be salesy, you let them leave and go to the crappy gym in town where that guy or that girl, they're just trying to sign people up, and they're going to be out of fitness in 3 to 4 months because it's a bad experience and they hate it, or maybe they got hurt because of the coaching. So guys, we have to get over this whole thing of like, I don't want to be salesy. Like, I get it. No one wants to be the slimy salesman, but you have to become great at sales so that you can change lives, right? Every single person that comes in doesn't necessarily know what they need. So it's on you to be able to tell them. I always like to use this analogy. If someone came to me right now and said, hey, Sherman, I got a new car for you. This car is going to cost you $250,000. Me, I'm going to say, I don't need a $250,000 car, but thank you. Then I talk to them later and they're like, listen, Sherman, I'm going to give you one more opportunity to get this car. Like, no, I don't need it. And then I find out a week later that they were trying to sell me a Bugatti, right? $1 million car. They're trying to sell it to me for $250,000. Now I've missed out on a huge opportunity because I was just so focused on the price. I wasn't focused on what I was actually getting for that price. And that's the same thing that happens sometimes in these gym consults, because we don't really tell them everything that we're getting. We're just like, oh, just join the gym. Oh, okay, yeah, can you tell me more about your gym? Send them the link. Click on this link. These are our prices. Well, all they're looking at is prices. They don't have anything else to go off of. So why would I pay $250,000 for a car when I can go down the road and buy a car for $50,000? Why would they join a $200 or $300 a month gym when they can go down the road and join a $20 a month gym? It's all about you guys becoming better at sales so that you can help more people, right? So I believe that this is one of the biggest things that the gym industry is going to continue to level up on, the micro gym industry, because here's the thing, if we're being honest, these franchises, Eat the Frog, Orange Theories, those type of gyms, they have entire sales teams dedicated to signing folks up, right? Entire sales teams, people that get trained, that's what they do, right? And that is what we are fighting against now. So we have to get great at sales, guys. And objection handling is sort of bottom of the tier, right? Like, you have to get decent at that. You'll get better over the years. The more training, the more reps you get. But if you're just afraid, or you just let every single person that walks out the door because they said they need to think about it, or they need to call their spouse, or I need to talk to my spouse. Here's the thing. I'm going to answer that. I'm going to let you talk, Blake, before we get off. But here's the big one. I need to talk to my spouse. Hey, I get it. I'm a married man as well. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to step outside of the room. I'm going to let you call your spouse. You guys talk it out, because and then I'll come back in and then we'll get you signed up. Because of course your spouse wants you to be in great shape. I know that, but I understand you guys need to talk it out. Now they're going to say, "Oh, okay, thank you." You leave out of the room, let them talk. Or they're going to say, "Oh no, I can't get in contact with my spouse." Guys, we know 9 times out of 10 that's a lie. If we need our spouse, you can send them a text. "Hey, I need you to call me." You're going to get a call back fairly quickly, right? So here's the thing, guys. There's some type of script for anything. And that's why at LASSO, we really focus on, yes, we focus on the leads. We want to get you leads. We want to increase your revenue. But the sales training is something that we dive into because we know that we can get you the best, highest quality leads in the world. But if you don't know how to sell them, it doesn't matter. It's going to be like, "Oh, all these leads are crappy." Well, we're not saying anything is free. So people aren't looking for anything free. So that means these people have a problem. They come in front of you. You have to be able to convey how your gym is going to solve their problem, guys. So,
yeah, I think the big thing is like a lot of times before you run paid marketing, you think you're really good at sales, which you probably closed 80 to 90%, but excuse me, you're closing everybody that's a referral. So Susie's best friend, Susie basically already sold them for you. You just basically have to sign them up, right? When you go into cold traffic, it's like switching. Right now, people are fishing for you. They're searching you out. And then when you start running ads, now you're fishing for people. So you actually have to be a legit salesperson. And, the spousal thing is really hard. But at the end of the day, like, you want to get a yes, no, and get away from maybes, right? Like, maybes will kill you. You'll track them down the whole time. One thing I would do, like Sherman said, ask them to give a quick call is great. And then if they're still on the fence, they're like, "Hey, my husband's at work, but I really, really want to do this," and they sound serious, hey, no problem. So here's what we're going to do, because we all know getting a credit card is the hardest thing. Let me get your credit card. Let me put it in the system. I'm going to set this up to run tomorrow. All you got to do tonight is go home, talk to your husband, and then just shoot me a message. If he doesn't want you to do it, I'll cancel out the membership, right? No problem. This way, the reason I like doing this is because they had to respond to me that night or they were going to get charged the next day. Because people, once they leave, and I would say this all the time, once you leave, you're going to think of every reason not to sign up. And 80% of people that leave here today without signing up are never going to sign up because you're going to think of all the reasons not to: money, time, schedule, motivation, accountability, all that kind of stuff, right? So getting some payment information ahead of time and getting it in the system. And like, to be honest, probably 30% of people are still going to sign up, but it's going to reduce the time that you spend seeking after those people, which just searching after leads that came in the door and then you're looking for them and like messaging them and calling them and can't get a hold, you're wasting so much time that could be used on people that are actually going to come in and sign up. So doing those few things of asking like, "Hey, do you want to call them real quick? I'll step outside." Hey, okay, they weren't available. And then if they can call them, you're going to get a yes or no. But if they can't call them, then you just ask them like, "Hey, are you really serious about doing this?" "Yeah, I really want to do this." Great. So I totally understand you need to talk to your spouse. Let me get your card information. Let me put everything in. I'm just going to start this tomorrow, the next day or whatever. But all you got to do is go home and talk to your husband, wife, whatever it is. And then just let me know tonight. And if you don't want to do it, no problem. Cancel everything out. And that's probably the easiest and best way to do it because that's the one everybody gets hung up on. I think the only other thing that I would add to this conversation before we go is when you guys show pricing sheets, don't keep talking. Wait for a response for them to say yes or no. Like a lot of you guys like show a pricing sheets and then you're trying to justify your price. Let them respond because if you talk over them, then they're going to start questioning, right? So show them the pricing sheet, let them think through it, and then give you a response before you move on to the next one.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great one. You dropped some good gems there. I believe that, again, the objection piece, there's so many things we could dive into, but we're going to get out of here. But to piggyback on what Blake said, if you take nothing else from this, like the objection handling skill, you can learn, we can work on it. You work with us, we're going to help you. But before these folks leave the consult, guys, this is what I tell my salespeople at my gym. You want a yes or a no. Obviously, a yes is better than a no. But you want a yes or a no, guys. Like, that is the point of the consult. The maybes, they're time wasters. They're energy wasters. You want a yes or a no. You talk to them. Yes, I'm ready to get going. Perfect. Or you talk to them. Hey, you know what? I don't think this is right for me. I'm just not willing to pay that much. I don't think blah, blah, blah. Okay, perfect. That's a no for right now. You put them in a long-term nurture sequence and just let it go. But those people that are maybes, those are the folks that drive you nuts. You got to follow up with them. They don't answer the phone call. It's just a huge waste of time. So in these consults, guys, you want a yes or a no. That's what you want, guys. So yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in. We hope that you guys get a ton of value out of this, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Gym Marketing Made Simple podcast with Blake Ruff and Sherman Merricks. We hope you enjoyed. We believe marketing should increase revenue and not waste money. So book your free call today. Head on over to LASSOframework.com. That's LASSOFRAMEWORK.com and find the right words, get more customers, and increase your revenue. We'll see you here next time.